Hi, I'm Mark Mazzaferro, Public Information Officer for the City of Vacaville. This is another episode of the Vacaville View. In this episode, we're going to meet our friends at the Green Tree Golf Club here in Vacaville. They're going to tell us about some classes they're offering through the Community Services Department. We're going to get to meet our new Public Works Director, Steve Hartwig. He's going to tell us all about his background and the Public Works Department here in the city. And finally, Louise Bucci is going to offer some advice and some tips and talk about some classes that she holds to teach folks how to use their iPads, their iPhones, and computers. So stay tuned.
My name is Mark Droman, and I'm the Assistant Pro here at Green Tree Golf Club. I've been here going on, a little over 7 years now. The classes we offer here for these juniors 7 to 17 are structured for basic beginners. So we teach them the fundamentals of the golf swing, full swing. We teach them chipping, pitching, putting, and then we take them out onto the golf course on the last sequence just to show them a little bit about etiquette and rules and things like that. So we get a little taste of golf, and then hopefully a lot of times we get them to start playing, and sometimes their parents start playing. We have 4 one-hour classes that consist of one course. So it starts at the beginning of the month, either Wednesday or Friday afternoon from 4 to 5, and then goes 4 consecutive weeks if we don't have a lot of rain. I do think kids get a lot out of golf in general just because it teaches you life skills about integrity and how to handle anger. And there's so many different things that golf can teach you. I think it's good to expose them to it. I took up golf when I was a kid, and my experience with adults that take it up later, it's just so much easier and more natural for a young person to get a club in their hands, learn just a few fundamentals, and start there. And even if they put it aside for several years down the road, it serves them pretty well when they come back to it. We talk about the foundation of a golf game or a golf swing all the time. You can't start adding nuances to something until the foundation is set, and that's what this is all about, especially for kids. I'll tell you, the first 2 things I'll tell them is we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to get them outside, away from their computer games. Each kid's different. Just teaching people is you kind of get a sense for what kind of people they are, how they learn best. Some kids are very mature for their age, some not so much. So we just make sure they're having fun first, and then following rules. And then some of them are much able to incorporate what you're trying to teach them than others, but you just keep it fun. That's basically how it works. It's a bad idea to take somebody out and give them no instruction, just give them clubs and have them start whacking away, because they will eventually and quickly establish bad habits and don't work. And then when they do finally figure out a way to hit a ball, it's usually with several band-aids to a flawed swing. And instead of just learning how to hold the club and certain fundamentals that make it so much easier, that is just, and the further they go down that path, the harder it is to straighten them out when they finally do decide, this ain't working, I better try something else. We're going to learn about golf and have fun at the same time, and that's something I think, one of my gifts that I have, I think, is that I'm a good encourager. So if the kid's not doing well at first, every little thing that they do right, we're gonna really get excited. I'm excited about it, and I think they get that. It's hard to fake that. I started golfing when I was about 11, and I was a baseball player, so I had a little bit of a rough start. Hit a lot of balls to the sideways at first because I had a baseball swing. I'll go out there and make some mistakes, and they'll laugh at me, and I'll say, "See, I'm a pro, and it's hard. So don't expect it to be easy for you, you're just starting," so we kind of throw some context on them. We encourage them to come out and practice. Some of the kids are brand new beginners and have no club, so we offer them, borrow these clubs, come out and practice on the range what you've learned between now and next week. And when they do that, I think you can tell that they're excited about it, and that's important. We do private lessons. Once they get into an intermediate level, we do have an intermediate camp only once a year, which is for kids that are out playing on the course already. But I typically will guide them towards one-on-one lessons, because each kid by then is going to have different needs. So we structure, one-on-one helps me just identify their needs, and we start keeping track of what they need to improve on, and each kid's different, so one-on-one works best. If you want to sign up for one of the classes, you can either just go to the Park and Rec, sign up at the community center, or you can call the golf course here at Green Tree at 707-448-1420, and we'll sign you right up.
Well, there's no doubt that Green Tree Golf Course is a great place to hit a bucket of balls, learn how to play golf, or just spend a nice relaxing afternoon. Now let's meet our new Public Works Director, Steve Hartwig. So So we're here today with Steve Hartwig, who is the new Public Works Director for the City of Vacaville. Wanted to give you an opportunity to meet Steve, and Steve's going to tell us a little bit about his background and exactly what Public Works does in our city and cities in general. So Steve, thanks for taking a little time out of your day.
No problem.
And coming to chat with us. You're a relatively new employee here.
Relatively, 4 months.
Yeah, you started in October, right?
Right, correct.
And it's March, your first part of March, so that's 4 months.
Yeah.
And welcome aboard, first of all. We're happy to have you here. Having been in some meetings with you, you're a good part of the team. I think you're a nice fit. I think,
thanks.
You know, people appreciate your experience and your approach. So, before I get too overflowing with praise, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk about how you ended up here in Vacaville. So.
Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody, well, maybe some people do, but I don't know if anybody decides they're going to be a public works type of person in their career, but I wanted to be a pilot initially and found out that you had to have really good vision, and I didn't at the time, and so started looking at things that fit with math and science, and through that process came to engineering in general, and then started looking at the different engineering options. Civil engineering, which is what I ended up becoming, a civil engineer, allows you to do things in the office where you design and you look at ways to build things or to improve things, and then the opportunity to be out in the field while it gets built. And so that appealed to me, to be part of the time in an office, part of the time out in the field. I enjoy that. So I do a lot of stuff with my hands, have hobbies that I do that require that I do some things hands-on and not just sit at a desk. Went to Sac State, close by here, and graduated from there, and then worked for Sacramento County for nearly 13 years.
So you're from the area, so to speak?
It's his home, basically.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
spent a
great.
lot of time back and forth between Sacramento and Napa, Bay Area, the coast. That was kind of my area to grow up in. So yeah, I'm from the area.
All right, so you decide you want to be a civil engineer, you go to college, you get your degree, and then it's out into the big world.
Yes.
And
so
tell us your process.
So I'd grown up in Sacramento, managed to get hired at a time when not a lot of people were hiring at Sacramento County in the transportation department. So worked there, worked my way up through the ranks, and was there nearly 13 years. As I was leaving Sacramento to move up to the Seattle area to be near some other members of the family, I was just leaving as the head of the operations and maintenance group within transportation department. Went up to the city of Seattle as a deputy director of the transportation department up there. Again, one fairly big organization to another fairly big organization, and kind of had in mind that really my goal was to be a public works director of what I considered a medium-sized organization. I figured that was a good mix of, you know, some big things happening, but you still got to be kind of close to the action. And so that was kind of the goal, and I kind of realized that here in Vacaville. But went through a short stint in the public sector or private sector, working for a consulting firm. Worked for a smaller city of about 30,000. Worked for a water district, a fairly small water district, so a specialty municipal government, if you will. And then back down here, and initially came back down and worked for the city of Fairfield for a little over 3 years as the assistant director of public works and city engineer, which led me to the opportunity to come to Vacaville as its director of public works.
So one day you're sitting at the breakfast table having a bowl of Cheerios or Wheaties or who knows what, and you pick up the paper and, hey, City of Vacaville is looking for a public works director. I'm going to apply. Was that kind of how it went down, or
kind of not really? No, because being the next door neighbor city, there's a lot of interaction between the two. I worked with a lot of folks in Vacaville already, including yourself, and it was kind of the buzz was known. We knew that Rod Moresco, the former director, had retired, and that there was potentially an opportunity. So I did a little investigation and talked to a number of folks, and then when the official announcement was out, I made the decision to go ahead and apply.
And for the record, folks, he said he had worked with me previously here, and he still applied for the job. So that's we look for our victories anywhere we can sometimes,
exactly.
Steve.
Exactly.
So anyway, you apply, you went through the process, and lo and behold, the phone rings, and you're the guy.
That's right. That's right. And I was very excited. It was, again, sort of the culmination of what I had hoped to have happen as the pinnacle of my career as an engineer. So that's you know, kind of doesn't get any better than this, and I'm happy to be here. So.
Now, one thing I've learned in our interactions is that you're very passionate about the role of public works in the community, aren't you?
I am, and do want to continue to point out the role that it serves the citizens in the community as often as I can.
Right, and to that end, on a fairly regular basis, we plan to do a show for Channel 26 and on YouTube and Facebook that kind of outlines highlights of the department, what's happening, projects, so on and so forth, to let people know, you know, kind of keep them in the loop about we do it for police and fire. Why not the largest department in the city, Public Works?
Right, and hopefully we can sort of focus on different areas of public works, because it does cover so many different things within the city that we can kind of highlight a different area each time. I think that'd be a value and an education to the folks out there that would help them understand what Public Works does.
So give us a little preview. I mean, you say, oh, it covers a lot of areas, for example.
Well, our street system, our streets and roads in the city of Vacaville are all operated and maintained by Public Works. The associated traffic systems, the signals, the signs, the pavement markings, the stripes, all of that is done by Public Works. The sidewalks and the curbs and gutters and the medians and the landscaping that's associated with those streets and roads. All of the pipes underground, the stormwater pipes to make sure we get stormwater out of here so it doesn't flood people. The water system that's running throughout our city that provides drinking water. When everybody turns on the faucet, the water comes out. Public Works is providing that via the system of pipes that carry the water from the treatment systems to their homes. The sewer systems, those are all maintained. All the pipes in the city are maintained by Public Works. Parks maintenance, all of the parks facilities and all of the buildings that are city owned are all operated and maintained by the Public Works Department. So there are sort of a number of facets. The other things that are done by Public Works, but through others, the transit system is operated by a contracted operator, but overseen by the Public Works Department to make sure that buses run on time and that they pick up people and that they operate in areas where the most need is. So buses are operated by Public Works, as well as the contract with the garbage pickup, the refuse pickup provider, recycling and trash collection is done under a contract that's managed by Public Works.
So it's safe to say that no matter your income level, orientation, whatever, you touch every life that exists in the city of Vacaville. That's a fair comment, isn't it?
It's a fair comment, and pretty much every day. Every citizen in Vacaville uses one of the facilities, at least one of the facilities that's operated or maintained by Public Works daily.
Well, we certainly hope so, for the sake of our viewers. But yeah, right. And then, you take it for granted. You get up at 3 in the morning and you want a glass of water, you go down, you get back in bed, and you don't even think twice until it doesn't come out.
Work.
Then, oh my God, Public Works, I can't believe these guys, but that's kind of the bed that you lie in.
It is, we are doing our job if you don't know it.
Right, exactly.
If the system's all working and everything operates the way you expect it to, that we take care of, we're doing our job.
Right.
So we're noticed when it's not functioning.
Things aren't working right. Yeah, but it's a big job. I mean, you got, I don't know how many miles, hundreds of miles of roadway, equal if not more number of miles of pipes.
Right.
2 huge treatment facilities, corporation yards, 600 vehicles.
Correct.
And speaking of vehicles, not only the vehicles you use, but all the police vehicles, the fire vehicles, the ambulances, you guys maintain those?
Yep. All the other departments, the vehicles and equipment that they use are all maintained through the fleet management group in Public Works.
We don't go to Jiffy Lube or Milt's Garage or, if something breaks down or needs to be changed, they come to you.
Most of our maintenance is done internal, although Public Works also manages some vendor contracts to help support us where there's some specialty needs from a equipment and fleet maintenance standpoint that we don't have the ability, or it doesn't make fiscal sense to do it internal.
Well, it's always amazing when I head over to the corp yard, and I'm not there all the time, but occasionally, and there's a bus in there on a lift, and there's a guy under there turning a wrench. That's one of our guys. That's pretty cool. One of our guys. That's right.
We have a fairly modest staff, but they're doing a lot of work with a lot of different pieces of equipment and vehicles. Yeah,
I mean there's a lot of knowledge over there. Those guys, and they do a great job. Got to keep the vehicles rolling, keep everybody working.
And with the economic downturn, we have stretched the lives of a lot of our equipment. It's been sort of patched together but made safe, and allowed the city to not have to invest at a time when it couldn't afford to, but now we're trying to come out of that and starting to update the fleet. And so it's very important for those that rely on those vehicles daily. Our police department needs those vehicles to do its job. So we're trying to update the age of the fleet so that we're in a little bit better shape.
Ambulances too.
Ambulances as well.
That's a biggie. That's a huge one. You know, if you sit and listen to the scanner any amount of time during the day, lots of calls for lots of folks who are in serious need of some assistance.
Absolutely.
You know, it must be extremely rewarding to know that you touch that many lives and have that much impact on our community.
It's a good feeling, and that's where we want to share and provide a little more information so that folks are aware of that and they know who to call when they do have something that needs to be addressed. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Well, listen, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate taking time. Anything you want to add about Public Works?
There's a couple of things that I think that aren't necessarily clear. Even other utilities that aren't owned by the city have some interaction with Public Works, and Public Works helps support the citizens by doing those things. Almost all the power from PG&E and all the gas lines that they have, all of your cable TV, your communications lines are all basically in the right-of-way that is owned by the public, the city, and operated, maintained, and managed by Public Works. So whenever those utilities have to do work in the right-of-way, they have to get permits through the city, and they're inspected by Public Works to make sure that they're putting things back the way they found them. So
I don't know how many times it's happened. Well, I can't think of too many times here. In my previous employment, it would happen all the time. They'd be out digging, PG&E or somebody else, and they'd hit a cable line or a water line, or oh, what a mess. But some cities are more current on what's under the ground than others, and that's a problem.
And we're working on those tools as well, the technology tools that will allow us to kind of manage where those things are and make sure that we at least point out that there are these things in the area and they need to be cautious about that.
Well, I think, I'm not sure who it is, I want to say PG&E, that sends out the little announcements every once in a while. Call 811 before you dig, right? Is that
right? There's a county-wide program to call any of the utilities required to call before you dig, and that's any citizen. If you're going to go out,
anybody, it's right.
Dig something in your yard because there are easements along the near your sidewalks that have utilities in them. Call that number. Make sure you at least double check it to make sure there's nothing in the way.
Right. Well, listen. Thank you again for taking a little time out of your day, shedding a little light on the importance of Public Works and the role they play in our city. And I'm looking forward to hearing about the other departments and kind of letting folks know all the aspects of what goes on in your department on a daily basis. Great. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Our pleasure.
Thanks.
Now, if you have any questions about the Public Works Department, you can give them a call at 449-5170. Now here's Louise Bucci, who's going to tell us about some computer classes she's offering at the McBride Senior Center.
My name is Louise Bucci, and I am an instructor at the McBride Center here in Vacaville. I moved here from Ohio in March and thought I was going to retire. Volunteered here for a couple of months under Audrey Gelder and ended up being asked to teach computers here. Started out with a couple of classes and it just mushroomed into many classes here. My classes are set up in 3 2-hour classes. They are the first, second, and third week of the month. They are for 2 hours. However, if you equate them to what you would get if you were going to another institution, it equates about 4 hours of training for every hour that I give them. We do have hour-and-a-half classes. We have 2-hour classes. And today, if you're not in tune with technology, you cannot communicate with the generations, even your own sibling, and then your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I have a 4-year-old great-granddaughter who knows how, Grandma, do you want to watch a movie? Boom, boom, boom. You know, she knows how to get into it. So most of the seniors will tell me, my kids will tell me how to do it, but they do it for me. I need to push the keys. Most people are afraid of the computer, and it's because they don't know what to do. They don't know what buttons to push. They don't know what to look for. And first thing I have to do is put their fear at rest and tell them, I was just like you. I came from the same thing we all did. I get a lot of professional people here. In fact, I have a superintendent taking a class now. And he said, I had 6 secretaries, never had to learn the computer. Now I have to be the one to learn it. No problem, you know, and trying to keep their enthusiasm with doing it. Before they get done with it, they take our beginning class with computers. You don't even know the keyboard when you come in. I teach you everything as far as where's the space bar, what is this key. Then you go to the advanced class and you learn what are antivirus, how do I get into the internet properly and that. And by the time you're done with that, you're ready to be introduced to software. And so people then go on and learn software. And in that right, we have computer savvy classes here for our seniors. And they are introduced to Word so that they can make a letter and attach it to their internet mail. And put pictures in their email, attach them. We teach Excel, which is numbers, and how to do things that seniors can actually do with numbers. How to work with PowerPoint, which are presentations, but we use the graphic part of that. And we're going to be introducing things like Publisher and desktop publishing so that people will be able to be doing their own marketing that is out there. Also doing Quicken, which is a financial for seniors to do a checkbook program, put your investments on, track it, make it easier so if something happens to you. So we're very diversified. We're very proud of our iPhone, iPad, and cell class. We've had many people attend them. We do everything from how do you do the settings to how do you actually use it, to how do I incorporate pictures, how do I take them off my device, how do I put them on TV, how do I work with iCloud, how do I work with Dropbox, how do I work with the different mediums to store your pictures. My favorite thing to tell them is, I know the keys. You need to sit there. You need to learn to log in. You need to learn how to push the keys. You need to learn how to work with what you're working here. So we get them involved in it before you know it, they're not afraid of it at all. We are threefold here. As far as teaching our programs here, we cater to the seniors of Vacaville. Of course, this is their center. And next we cater to the adults, and we're hoping to bring a retraining, reskilling program here so that people can be able to be reemployed again. Thirdly, we work with teenagers, and we hope to give them a better insight into how to get college, find a college, how to go to jobs that are not really female oriented, and to be able to pick up skills in life themselves. Our computer lab is now, it's really up-to-date, state-of-the-art. When I first came here, it was not what I expected. And I'm used to working in a nice functioning lab. So together with IT and management here, we struck a really great plan. We have overhead projectors that are all wireless. We have Wi-Fi that is here. We have 12 computer units. We have license for every computer that we have. We operate with what we call little panel boxes. So we have our own system that is here. The images are on the panel boxes. There's a little bit of hardware issues that I work with along with working with that, keeping the computers going. But we're very proud of this lab. We've had it painted. We offer certificates that we give to our students as a reward for taking the classes. You need to see some benefit out of what you're doing here. So I hope people will come in the community and see what the McBride Center has to offer. We are pulling in students from Sacramento, from San Francisco, and all of the surrounding areas here with the programs that we're teaching. Well, I am here to try to give a little bit of excitement, enthusiasm, bigger vitality back to the seniors. They're my pride and joy. They have so much to offer. They have all of the knowledge that we need to go on to the next generations. Applying a computer is just a part of it that completes this. We're talking about people that came from outhouses, you know, oil lamps, you know, way back in the days, and asking them to learn this technology is above and beyond what we expect them to do. But they're doing phenomenal. I have looks on their faces when they come out. The rewards I get are not monetary. It's all intrinsic. Everything is inside that you get. Seeing the smiles on their faces and just seeing them enjoy the classes. I hope the citizens of Vacaville will take opportunity to come here and just walk by the lab. I'm here most of the time. They can come in the door, they can come and talk to me and see what it's all about, where they need to be, what they need to start working with, and just go on from there. This is a little legacy I'd like to leave to the town. Someday somebody else hopefully will carry on what I've started here.
Now, if you want to sign up for any of Louise's classes, you can either stop at any of our community centers to register, or you can do so online by visiting our website and clicking on the Rec Web link. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Vacaville View. Now remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can give me a call at 449-5371 or send us an email at channel26@cityofvacaville.com. Thanks for watching.